the original high bridge. Why, the first idea for a bridge to be built across this river, that was made back in 1851. It was at that time that we had a new railway company that started up here. They were known as the Danville-Lexington Railroad. And they went out and they hired a young engineer by the name of John Roebling. And Roebling, he was going to build a suspension railroad bridge across the river. Well, Roebling came down and he built 2 sets of 90-foot stone towers, a set on each cliff which he would hang the cable from. Well, just as Roebling completed the towers and they were getting ready to run cable, the Danville-Lexington Railroad went bankrupt. But after Roebling left from here, he went up to Covington, Kentucky, built a suspension bridge across the Ohio. And after that, on to New York and started work on his most famous bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, we actually didn't have a bridge built here until 1877. It was a few years prior to that time when the Shakers, well, they had needed land for the railway. That way, the first bridge could be built across the river. And for the first bridge, the Cincinnati Railway went out and hired the Baltimore Bridge Company. And the bridge that they built across the river, it was known as the world's tallest railroad bridge. To many people, that first bridge was the 8th wonder of the world. The Cincinnati Railway, they were so proud of that first bridge that they actually built a park high on top of the cliff here to the right. Actually, the observation deck that we see is up in High Bridge Park. You do get a very nice view from that observation deck up there. To get to it, take Highway 29 through Wilmore. It'll bring you right up there. They have an excellent High Bridge museum up there right now. Very nice photograph. In case any of y'all are wondering what the original High Bridge looked like, well, I have done a photograph up here in the window of the original High Bridge. And as you can see, the first High Bridge, it stood across the river here for many years. But as time went by, well, railway companies, they wanted trains made larger, heavier, and carry more freight. And the first bridge was not designed for that. So the Cincinnati Railway decided they needed a better bridge. But the engineers working for the railway figured on putting in at least 2 years tearing out the old bridge and then about another 3 years building a new one. That meant the railway company, they were going to lose about 5 years of operation on the line. And that would lose the railway a lot of money. So the engineers thought about this. Finally, one of them came up with the idea to build the new bridge 30 feet higher. Build the new bridge over and around the old one. So it used to be the trains ran through the middle of this bridge as it was being built along the old track. And then after completing the new bridge, switch the trains on the upper level and then dismount the old bridge on the middle. By building the new bridge this way, instead of losing 5 years of operation, the railway company only lost 48 hours. And that in itself was declared an engineering feat. Originally, when this high bridge was completed, it remained a single-track railroad bridge. But in 1929, they decided to add the second track so trains would be able to pass one another. Well, before they could add that second track,